What's going on, guys? Sergeant Galaxy, aka Sergeant Galaxia, back with the second updated Blue Eyes Maiden deck profile. Um, like I said in the comments of my other one, and also on TurkThePally Facebook channel, which you guys should give the big thumbs up. Um, that I had told you guys that I would give you the updated version. This version is still being tweaked and just tried to make it good, I guess. So why don't you help me make this deck? Let's make this deck tier, I don't know, tier 2 maybe? 2? Creeping on the 1? We're gonna make it 1. We're gonna make it 0. It's gonna be Dragon Plant, it's gonna be Dragonities, be everything. Everything is gonna just get smashed by this deck. But let me tell you what everything is updated so far. First, obviously, the 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon. You can't have a Blue Eyes Dragon deck without Blue Eyes. And as you guys could see, had to do it. Had to take out Red Eyes Black Dragon and replaced it with Darkstorm Dragon. Darkstorm Dragon is just too good to be in this, to not be in this deck. Also, I just gave up the fact that I am gonna run level 8 synchros. But you're more than welcome to try to fit in like a good level 7 dragon that's easy to ditch. By all means. Like I said, we're trying to make this deck good. You could probably replace it with fucking Blue Stream of Destruction if you really want to. I don't know. I just wanted the card in there because it's stupid. But Darkstorm Dragon. Really, the key thing to know is that it is a Gemini monster. For those of you who may or may not know the shitty card, once you basically throw it in the grave with Dragon Shrine, and while it's in the grave, because first with this effect, it send one Dragon type monster from your graveyard. That's the first part of it. And then once Darkstorm hits the grave, it is considered a normal monster at that time in the grave. And then this effect. And then if that monster is a dragon type normal monster, you add another, you can send one more into the grave, which like 99% of the time you want to send Whitestone, but I'll get to the combos later, from what I've been experiencing. So 3 Maidens, 3 Whitestones, 2 Apprentice to get Maiden out, and for more Wonder Wand targets. Still the 1 Honest. And onto the spells, I'm still running 3 Silver's Cry. This card is just way too good not to run in 3. I dropped 1 Cards of Consonance due to the fact that in this deck, specifically, you most likely, if you open up with Shrine, or if you have Shrine, period, you're going to want to first ditch Darkstorm Dragon or a Blue Eyes, but for your first ditch would be definitely Darkstorm Dragon. Then, since it's a normal, you get to do it again with another dragon, and then that's when you send Whitestone of Legend, which then adds a Blue Eyes. So you're basically thinning your deck out by 3 cards, which makes it easier to draw into your more combo pieces to kind of go off all at one turn. And that's why you run 2 Cards of Consonance, because you're going to be ditching a lot of Whitestones in the grave as soon as you have either this card or specifically for Cards of Consonance, because you're going to be down to like 2 or 1 dragon level tuners, because the other one, the Rider of the Stormwind, it really just wasn't doing anything. It's a good card of, if you decide to play it, definitely play it just at 1. Any more than that, it's kind of cloggy. It's really just the Cards of Consonance target. More than anything. But when I played it, I think I used it once, and it wasn't even that good of a play. So I just dropped it and just put in more useful cards. So I'm still running 3 trade-in, just for the fact that I have 4 level 8s, and I have a way to... It's nice. If you have trade-in and either a Shrine or a Whitestone, you can search into your Blue Eyes to get the trade-in effect off, which is really nice, because like I said, Whitestone adds the Blue Eyes to the hand, and if you have trade-in and a Shrine in hand, then you can basically get, like, you can search the card that is needed for it. 2 Wonder Wands still. Wonder Wand with Maiden is just really good. It just makes the deck so much more consistent. 3 upstart goblins, just because what I've been noticing, like when I do like the like play test with myself, I've noticed that I have a lot of these cards, right, the draw cards, but I never have like the monsters to go with them, and that's kind of where it's rough with cards like these when they're so dependent on like 2 pieces to work as one. The same thing could go for 7 swords or anything like that, because obviously that's why Pot of Duality is so good, and other cards that draw without having to rely on a specific type. I guess you can consider Lord of Darkness as the same, because darks are just it's just a generic dark. Um, but Upstart helps keep that more consistent, and you can potentially draw into the second piece that you need to either use turn trade in, or Cards of Consonance, or Wonder Wand to draw into the Maiden. So, like I said, I think from the last one I was running 2, so I was running 2 of this, bumped it up to 3, but then once I am running triple upstarts, I dropped this back down to 2, just for the fact that I'm going to be drawing it, and it's not going to be hard not to get to. 2 MSTs, still. The fact that this deck kind of gets hurt from monster removal back row, as far as either Maiden getting summoned, or the Blue Eyes getting summoned, or preventing them from getting summoned, like a very common card now with Vanity's Emptiness. That card just shuts down this deck, so obviously having 2 of these is pretty much needed. You side into the third, but obviously this isn't my side deck. I've really not sided anything in this. 2 lances now. I added 2 lances just for the fact that if you have a Blue Eyes on board, they're gonna try to do anything in their power to get rid of it. Or even with Maiden. Maiden is just really good, and they're probably gonna try to waste like a Dark Hole or anything just to get rid of it if it's something that doesn't target. Which is good. And the thing with lands is the key thing that says target 1 face-up monster. So this can actually activate Maiden's effects much like Wonder Wand can. So it's nice to have 4 opportunities to do it as well. And a good thing too is that you can do it with Phoenix Chain too. For example, if you Phoenix Chain Maiden, you can chain the effect off of Phoenix Chain. So there's 2 chains, but the last is Burst Stream of Destruction. It's a good card depending, because this deck kind of, it doesn't really suffer from a lot of monster removal. It's just the only way that this deck can compete is that it has to attack monsters. And if there's like if there's a lot of monsters that you simply can't deal with, or if you're afraid of their effects going off next turn, like I don't know, like weakening a Draco Sack or weakening a Zenmanes, or like stuff like that that keeps really problem monsters on board. It's just a really good card. No, granted, you can attack, but what you are probably going to be able to do is, if you have a Maiden with a Blue Eyes, activate this and then just sync for Azure Eyes, and you can just kind of get over that fact. So yeah, you can just do it that way. And like I said, now you run 6 tuners, so it's not like it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a very rare problem. Onto the traps, I run 2 Call the Haunted, because it obviously brings back all the stuff that I'm dumping off with trade-ins and Cards of Consonance and Wonder Wands. You can bring back your Maiden if you want to. If you have a Wonder Wand in hand or a Lance in hand, you can still go off. 2 Castle of Dragon Souls. Still, the card is just really good. It's still good at 2. I would just keep it at 2. I really wouldn't run 3, just for the fact that it's a good way to special summon stuff out of your banished, but I wouldn't rely on it too heavy. But 2 is a healthy number, and the 3 Phoenix Chains, because obviously this deck suffers against effect monsters. And I used to, if you remember in my old one, or I don't know if I added it or not, I had a skill drain in here at the last minute. But when I was playtesting it, I noticed that I had skill drain on when I didn't have Blue Eyes, and it was kind of shitty knowing that they can go off and I can't activate skill drain just for the fact that like if I had like a Maiden on board, I just couldn't do anything. I mean, granted, I could do it after, but MST people play MSTs like religiously. So that's that deck. Some of the stuff that I did cut, light ray greffers, those two. I'm trying to remember the video. I dropped the light ray greffers. That wasn't really a card that I liked. Another one, which I might add, depending. Like I might just. This card is basically like a filler. You can just think of this as like really nothing. I just like it because it's like a Regeki and you have blue eyes out all the time. But I might replace it with DDR now that I have upstarts. If I draw into this card with like a white stone or like anything in grave, I can special from my banished and special from my grave potentially 2 blue eyes in one turn. But you can go ahead of that way. But as far as this card, I feel that it was just too slow due to the fact that you have to have like you have to have everything set up before this can go off. Like you have to first have the blue eyes engraved, and you have to have a monster on the field to target with, and then it's just like it seems like it wouldn't be a problem, but a lot of the times when I had this card in my hand, I normally didn't have this on board, or I didn't have any good banished dragons for some reason. Like I didn't have like a blue eyes banished or like engraved to banish, so that was kind of a problem. And these are some of the, like I was trying to find like good cards that you'd put into this deck with level 8s and stuff. The obvious one is Thunder End Dragon, but I don't know why it jumped so much. Probably due to the fact that this deck exists and like with Hieratics and all that. But this is easily your go-to Dark Hole. Basically like a Black Rose or something like that. Gimmick Puppet is good with Draco Sack being a problem and a lot of Exceeds. I mean, this card can destroy special summons, but the fact that this card also can burn damage to your opponent if it destroys an Exceed monster is really important. And that's why it's kind of nice too with Burst Stream of Destruction. If you have for some reason 2 of these on board, you can activate this, clear out the Draco Sack tokens, and you can overlay for this guy, and then it just attacks or attaches and burns for the 20. So we got Neo Galaxy Eyes. If for some reason you're going just insanely off to where you have 3 blue eyes on board, you can always go into him. I mean, I don't know why you really would, but it's whatever. Galaxy Eyes Tachyon. It's a really good card. I might pick one up because it's ridiculous. Gimmick Puppet of Strings. It's okay card. It's got 3,000. And like I said, a lot of these cards are good to go into if you pull off a Burst Stream of Destruction with 2 blue eyes on board. You can use the effect and then overlay for one of these and just attack. This is a new card that's coming out. I don't know when or where. I just have been too lazy to look it up. It's basically just like special summons dragons. You can take over dragons, or dragons are unaffected by stuff. It's really good. And obviously the Coach King Giant Trainer, 3 level 8s, is pretty good due to the fact that you can draw cards. And I think you can activate it 3 times in one turn, up to thrice per turn. I think that's for a card that uses thrice in its name. But yeah, you can potentially just draw 3, and this deck doesn't mind you drawing a lot. Neither does any deck. And obviously the 3 is yours. And just for some of the level, since you play so many level 1s, just the 2 that I could think of. Slacker Magician is really good, and also Lionheart is good too. So yeah, those are just some of the ones that I think would be good, obviously, because there's not even a lot of level 8 Exceeds, so they're basically that's all of them. But like I said, guys, this is a deck that I would love to be like really good. So if you guys have any comments or any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, so other people can kind of bounce back ideas, because it would be cool to make this deck like actually good. And oh, for those of you who think I should play Red Eyes Darkness Metal, I was thinking about Red Eyes Darkness Metal, but the things that I kind of like don't like about it is the fact that I don't know. Like I think the biggest thing for me is just synergy wise. It just doesn't like you would think it would, I guess. But the only time that you would really have like a dragon on board that you'd want to bounce back to your hand is like I guess like a white stone. But it's just it's a play that you really don't want to make, and the fact that right darkness by the way. Let me see. Yeah, from your hand or graveyard. But I don't know. It just seems, to be honest, like with all, it just seems a little bit too situational. I know I'm probably gonna get bagged for it, but I just don't like it in the deck. I tried it with in the deck, um, and either I just didn't draw it enough, because, like I said, you're gonna be dumping your Whitestone of Legends in the grave a lot. And if you don't have Blue Eyes on board, you're basically just sitting there with a dead Red Eyes in your hand. Because if you have Blue Eyes on board, you're basically like you're got a lot of them on, or with like a lot of support anyway, or you just don't have anything. It's like I feel that this card is good like when you're in the middle, like you have some advantage, but you could use some more. Where this deck is you either are drawing amazing, or you're just drawing poop, and if you waste some of those cards for this effect, you kind of just make it even more poop. So that's my reasoning. But I'm sorry I don't know how long this is going for. I'm sorry if it's long, but like I said, leave comments if you want to make any suggestions or changes. Because like I said, we're making this deck good. We're making it at least tier 2, if not tier 1, or even tier 0. So that's it for me, guys. I'm going to be making some more videos coming out. I'm also going to be streaming still some Rogue Legacy and some other games that come out, such as Amnesia, Machine for Pigs. That game also came out. So that's it for me, guys. See you later, Space Cowboys.